Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Views from the Center, the moderate political and current events podcast hosted by me, Ryan Brinker. Here, if all goes as planned, we will discuss several different areas of modern political life from the perspective of a political moderate, with the political moderate in this case being myself. Herein lies the first disclaimer. This podcast and the entirety of its content, written and spoken, is entirely done by me. These opinions are my own and nobody else's. I make absolutely no promises to avoid bias or my own spin on things, and quite in fact, I promise that both of those things will be present. If during the course of this broadcast you hear me say something that you disagree with, please let me know and I will do my best to address it. I don't promise that I'll change my mind, obviously, but I will do my best to make sure to give the discussion a platform, and I will give any and all objections the attention and respect they deserve. In addition, as a person with a background in journalism, I also promise that I will never knowingly spread any falsehood on this program. In order to make informed decisions, we must have the facts, and while I cannot give you all the facts you need in order to be a functioning member of society, I can at the very least ensure that all the facts you hear on this program will be accurate to the best of my ability. Once again, if I slip up in this regard, let me know. You may at this point be asking yourself who I am and why I'm worth listening to at all. I can't answer the second part for you. Hopefully you'll determine that on your own. But I can at least fill you in on the first part. I'm a 22-year-old man, soon to be graduated from the University of Kansas. I've been studying pre-law, journalism, and political science. I want to clarify right here and now that I do not think that these things in any way make me some sort of expert in terms of politics. However, if I may stick up for my legitimacy at least a little bit, I have spent the short entirety of my adult life studying people, decision-making, media, and the political process. These are the things that fascinate me, and it is these particular things that I want to discuss with you on this program. The point behind all of this is to find some way to further our political understanding of the world through discussion. So much of the media when it comes to politics is overrun by the extremists of both sides. We all know that these people do not represent us. The image of the radical leftist and the alt-rightist shouting at each other on TV is not, in my opinion, an accurate portrayal of political life in America. These people are the ones who demonize everyone who doesn't think like them. I'm tired of the status quo of being able to get an audience just by having the loudest tantrum. This country is built on top of the sleeping giant that is our political moderates, the average citizen just doing their best, the one not constrained by ideology, the people who recognize that every talking head shouting and flailing on primetime CNN and Fox News debates, every person who conducts their politics that way are equally ridiculous and counterproductive. There's no rule that says you have to be undignified to change things politically. This kind of chest-pounding toddler politics is exactly what makes so many people decide to just give up on politics altogether. If you're one of those people, I'd like to tell you that I understand. Politics looks like a nightmare of name-calling and nothing getting done. It's natural to want no part of it. However, if you're going to take one thing away from this, let it be this. Things do not have to be this way. We don't have to sit silently and let these idiots carry on every time we flip on the television. Politics are the most important, most central aspect of life in any democracy. We have a responsibility as citizens of a democratic nation to participate. It's a unique opportunity to have actual say in our own ways of life. Even the most rudimentary glance at some of the other places on Earth show that this kind of freedom isn't exactly available everywhere. So I say the hell with these crybabies, on the right and the left. Never let yourself forget that your political destiny as a citizen in a democracy is yours to decide and yours alone. Don't let these assholes tell you what you have to believe in. They do not own the political process. It belongs to all of us. With that in mind, for those of us who have been so alienated by the talking points of both major parties, who have had enough of the obvious spin and clear exploitations, I want this podcast to be a place where we can talk. I guess you might call it a safe space, but please don't call it that. I'll get to those in a later podcast. What I mean to say is that Views from the Center will be a place built on critical thinking, fact-based arguments, skepticism, and freedom from ideological constraint. If you want to join us in participating here in this experiment, all are welcome, but be prepared to have your core beliefs challenged and come armed with the knowledge to defend your positions. Before this drags on for too long, I just wanted to have this first episode as a means of introduction and greetings. Now that you've gotten to know me a little bit, I look forward to getting to know all of you. The first formal episode of the broadcast will be next week on a topic that I have yet to choose at the time of this recording. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at ViewsFromCenter, and or contact me via email at viewsfromthecenter1@gmail.com. Any questions, comments, or episode suggestions can be relayed through those means for now. Until next time, I'm Ryan Brinker, and this has been Views from the Center. Thank you for listening.